saying, you're saying, how do I look at people? Like, how do I just want to like just clarify.
No, how do I view it? Because always when I have to disconnect from someone, I pray, like, please God, it should be the right decision and not just randomly disconnect. But not always I have like the most intentions. Sometimes I just say it as it is. But we all people at some places, sometimes, some scenarios, we need to disconnect from certain people and even Jews. And knowing that he's the same part of the same source and the same God, it just doesn't feel like we all the same in scenarios like this when you have to disconnect for certain reasons.
Hmm.
How can I just make peace in my mind like this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing question and a very important question. I think a lot very relatable to a lot to all of us. And I think this really highlights this idea exactly of what we're saying is that there are people, and then there's their actions. Just like we said that the Lubavitcher Rebbe saw like, okay, we can put tefillin on this person that may be acting a certain way, but there is who we are in our essence and our core. And so even this person that may be doing horrible things, absolutely, there are people that do things that are, terrible, and that are they're in a place of we call like a place where they're like a ruach shtut, like a total, folly or nonsense entered into them, and they got over hijacked by their animal soul, by their survival instinct, by their who knows what, and again, it doesn't matter. That's not for us, because that's them, and that's not for us to take on, and not necessarily to have over compassion on it, but at the same time, every person in their essence is good and pure and whole, and but that doesn't mean and that their actions are in alignment with that. And so yes, we have to sometimes have boundaries around those people, but at the same time, every person, and that's not your problem, and that's not your job to do, is to make every person see, to change them or to heal them or to fix them. Some of us have that part, like I know I have that part, that like savior, want to fix everyone and save the world, save every and that's not our place necessarily, is to have everyone to save them or have them do tshuva, but to kind of separate people from their actions. And when we do that with other people, it's very powerful, because it allows us to do it more for ourselves. Because we could get so enmeshed in ourselves of like, I acted a certain way, I showed up a certain way, and so this is who I am. This defines me. But it's like, no, my essence is pure and whole and connected to the source and one with God, but I am right now, I'm just acting out of alignment to that, and that's okay, because I could always repair that. There's Repair is something that's always possible. So yeah, does that answer that?
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
amazing. Anyone else have any other questions before we move on? Okay. Okay, so now actually that was actually a great question, because it just flows so perfectly with what I wanted to what we're going to discuss now, and it's just amazing how there's always this beautiful alignment and flow. So now we're going to say, he's going to ask this question: if all souls have the same exalted source, right? How are we to explain the huge differences in their abilities? Okay, and now we're going to draw again onto this metaphor of this brain, which and child, the brain seed child metaphor that we spoke about last week. Okay, so now I'm going to read inside. Now, as in the above metaphor of a child who is derived from the father's brain, where even the child's toenails are formed from the very same drop of seed as the child's higher faculties, through a 9-month gestation in the mother's womb, is progressively downgraded and transformed to the point that even the child's nails are formed from it. Nevertheless, it remains bound and united in a wondrous and powerful unity with its original core essence as it existed in the seminal drop, the father's brain.